Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new League of Legends video. Now, after I made the last video analyzing Bjergsen's laning phase as Cassiopeia, a lot of you guys seem to like it. So this time, instead of talking about the laning phase, I'll be talking about the late game and how to stall a game if your team is behind. So we're going to do a review of a game of this guy playing Veigar, where his team was so far behind as you can see on the scoreboard, and how he tried with his team to play out the mid game, try as much as they can to play around their enemies' mistakes and missteps to shorten the gold lead between the teams and try to regain the lead and potentially carrying the game. So first of all, why do I advise especially low elo players to play Veigar? So first of all, Veigar is a really strong champion in terms of damage, and he scales very well to the late game. And as you know, like most of the games in low elo tend to go to like 30 plus minutes because people tend to not know how to close out games. So he's a really good pick if you know how to survive with him in the laning phase. Secondly, his burst damage in the mid to late game is too absurd, especially if you stack very well and you get your farm and items very quickly. The cons though of playing Veigar is that you're kinda vulnerable to heavy gap closing champions, especially from ganks. So it's kinda easy to dive him, it's kinda easy to kill him if you have a good gap closing, either jungler or mid, such as LeBlanc, facing for example a Zac or something like that. So I will present you to the runes and build in the screen so you can copy them if you need to. But these runes aren't like 100% you should take them, but it's just like personal preference and depends on like the games, etc. So first I'll give you a short idea on how this game went in the early game. Veigar's bot lane got destroyed by Xayah Rakan combo and they lost up to 2 towers in the bot lane. Gangplank on the other hand also lost to Camille. He was able to keep up in farm, but he was I think 4 kills behind. So there was the last hope of this game was on Veigar's mid, and even Warwick wasn't as helpful as he should be, and he just came in the laning phase and into the free kill to Brand. So it all stays on the shoulders of Veigar to try to stall out the game, stop the bleeding of gold, and try to come back in the game and hopefully carry it. So we'll start here the video from 20 minutes into the game, where Warwick was trying alone to do dragon. I don't know why, but yeah, you know, these players, etc. So here he dies in vain. So the goal of Veigar and his team here is to try to stall out as much as they can and try to prevent the sieging of the enemy team or a potential Baron. So as you can see here, Veigar is trying to sit mid, preventing them to push. I think Janna was also with him here. So it's always good if you want to prevent like dives to put on wards. So here Warwick dies, Gangplank also dies. Like I don't know why are they even fighting here in the jungle. Like they are already too far behind. Why forcing fights instead of like just farming, taking waves, towers if possible. So because of the death of Warwick and Gangplank here, the enemy team attempts a free Baron and they potentially take it. Camille here suicides, so it's at least a good takeaway for Veigar's team. But still, like the enemy team were able to get Baron around, I think it was 23 minutes into the game, 21 minutes into the game, which means they are already ahead and they were able to secure Baron to siege with it. So here Veigar with his team should try to look into shoving the waves as much as they can and try to prevent the enemy team from sieging, either 5-man sieging or going for a 1-3-1. But I believe the best thing they can do here is go for a 1-3-1. like having Camille in the top lane, having Shyvana in the bot lane, and the other 3 CG in mid lane. So here, as you can see in the minimap, Warwick got invaded, but gladly he didn't int it this time. In this example, like here, why Veigar's team are actually trying to fight here? Like they are too far behind in gold, they are 7k gold behind, the enemy team have Baron, so they have no way to beat them like in a 5v5 fight. So their only hope is to prevent sieges, to wave clear as much as they can and try not to die. So as you see here, the enemy team are trying to siege 4-man mid. Camille is pushing top and rotating, which is a good thing. It's the correct choice for her to do. But apparently the enemy team weren't able to fully commit to the tower because of what? Because of Veigar's good wave clear in the mid game. Now as you reach this stage of the game, you're already kinda, I think it's 2-3 items. So you are able to first wave clear with your W and Q, and you prevent like dives and hard sieges using your cage. So the positive thing about Veigar is that his cage can be used both offensively and defensively. You can use it defensively to prevent sieges and also dives. As you can see here, Shyvana got caught. Or you can use it as a sieging tool. So Camille here was also trying to push for top lane. So Camille is actually doing the right thing for her team to win. But still, the 4 other people weren't able to just like commit to the tower and dive. So it's kind of a repetitive loop. Now Veigar with low CDs, with that damage that he has, whenever they push the wave, he just wave clears it. And with also like Janna protection and Caitlyn. So in other situations you will see people just like suiciding, trying to fight, hopefully getting back. So here Camille was pushing top, trying to split push, but apparently she got caught. So as you can see, the goal of Veigar here and his team is to try to spot mistakes, use them to get back in the gold, and potentially win the game, instead of committing to plays. So here Xayah missteps, and she dies. OP damage. Good job, Veigar. Nice damage. Press R to win. Easy. So as you can see, especially like in low elos, people can't stop themselves from fighting. So as this Xayah did, she was trying to 1v1 a mid-game Veigar without using her R even to dodge anything. So she gets shredded by press R button. So there is the first mistake by Camille over pushing top lane. She got punished from it, and Caitlyn was able to take the tier 1 tower of top lane. Second mistake that they made is so Warwick is suiciding again, but apparently Veigar's team was able to rotate and they secured here the dragon. So as I was saying, Caitlyn was able to take the first tower top. The second mistake is Xayah overstepping without having Rakan or her team at her side. And now the third step, Shyvana trying to take dragon by herself from Warwick, causing her to waste flash and her ult. And now also, as you can see on the screen, Brand also steps in, dies. So like, people do too much mistakes. You need just to learn how to spot them. Even if your team is behind, as long as you aren't behind, you can turn things around. You just have to play it smart, play it safe, look for missteps, look for mistakes, look for potential enemy greeding for kills, for anything. As you can see here, Xayah steps in too much. Rakan also, he gets one-shotted. Veigar, press R, you win. Easy. And the sieging power with his cage is just too big. Like, it covers a lot of space. And whenever someone is got inside, even if he didn't get stunned, if he gets caught inside and your team was there, it's just a GG well played. They can only flash it, and they don't have flash like every 10 seconds or so. So here, after taking mid lane tower, they rotate to top, which is a good call, since they can't siege the mid lane without having minions. So that was a good call to go for. Also, these rotations matters a lot, because if they stayed in the mid lane and tried to force, for example, a dive or something, it might go wrong. So why not go for the safe play? The safe play was to go top lane and get the tower. And now they were able to get 2 kills. They were able to get a mid lane tower and the top lane tower. All these small mistakes adds up and reduces the gold difference that was between the teams. But here the mistake that Veigar's team made is them backing at the wrong time. So instead of directly backing after getting the tier 2 tower of top lane, they stayed and tried to farm. So this is a mistake by Veigar and by his team, and that, as you can see, cost them Baron again. So if they didn't make this mistake, they could have just went and sieged mid or bot lane after that. But apparently, mistakes were made and they got delayed again. But as you can see on the screen, the goal difference went from being 7k before at the start of the video to being now just around 4k. And having a champion such as Veigar is really, like, having a fed Veigar or a Veigar on a good spot is really good, especially, as I said, in lower elos where people doesn't respect champions damage, doesn't sometimes recognize how much a champion can do. People misstep a lot. They even sometimes don't know what to do, how to close out games, how to use their leads to carry games, etc. Like, for example, in this game, at first Camille was doing the right thing. She was pushing, then rotating, but Shyvana was just farming her jungle. So as you can see here, 1Q was able to take half Zaya's HP, even though she is a level ahead of Veigar, but still, because it is Veigar. That's why I said it is good to play Veigar, as I said, especially in low elos, because first, his damage is good. You barely find people that are going to punish your weak early game, and your sieging power is really insane. So you can take people off guard a lot. And here Camille made the second mistake of split pushing without having vision on the jungle, and she got caught again. That also reduces the pressure on Veigar's team and gives more gold and possibility of a comeback to them. So here Veigar's team should look into sieging, trying to siege but without dying, which means don't overcommit but wait for the enemy team to misstep. So as you can see here, Zaya got caught, but Veigar went too far behind there. That was a mistake. But still, like, he was able to output a really good amount of damage. But he shouldn't have went too far back there. But Camille, on the same time, Camille was taking what? Hello? Nice TP, by the way. Nice TP. He TP to a tower that was dying. Lol. So Camille was at the same time that they were team fighting, Camille was taking the inhib. So that was really a good call from her, since apparently she can't rely on her team doing anything. So but Caitlyn on the opposite side, she went and got the inhibitor tower, and potentially, I think, getting also the inhibitor. Yes, so she also gets the inhibitor here. So the Caitlyn going directly for the inhibitor was a good idea, because now they equalized the pushing power. Camille got one inhib while Cage got one inhib, so things are kinda equal right here. So everyone here, both teams should look into sieging Baron, either through wards or through forcing it. So we'll see what will they do. But I don't think forcing it is a good idea, because the whole enemy team is alive. They would probably die. So here Caitlyn dies, also Veigar dies. Yeah, that was a bad idea. Like, it's too risky to do Baron if like 5 people on each team are alive. Because especially in low elos, you risk people missing smite, you risk people dying for no reason. As you can see here, Janna just Janna trying to 1v1 on Zaya. So they went back, and after Janna dying, they went back and tried to do better, but apparently Warwick was a hero, finally doing something useful in this game and stealing Baron. Finally. So as you can see, games in low elo goes either way. Like, games can be thrown, games can be carried, etc. People can have a lead at the early game and just throw it away because of stupid mistakes, stupid plays. You just have to be patient and play it smart. Never commit for stupid fights, for stupid engages, for even stupid objectives in a sense. So here they all reach the late game. After Baron is down, they look to take Elder Drag, but the enemy team have no way to contest it because the siege in power. Like, even here Brent oversteps, he dies. Like having, for example, here Caitlyn with the traps, plus the immense cage that Veigar have. You can't step in. If you step in, you get caught, you die. As the Brent did. And with the big wave here, I think they would look into finishing. And here also Xayah greets, tries to 1v1 Veigar. Press R, she dies. Easy. So as you can see, you saw before how far the enemy team were. But because they didn't know how to close out the game and how to play out the map, Veigar's team, and Veigar especially, was able to take his team back into the game and potentially now, as you can see, carrying it and winning the game. So this pick, I advise a lot of people, as I said, especially in low elos, to take on Veigar if they're searching for an easy to play champion. He is not as hard as a lot of other mid lane champions, and also he is really strong into the mid to late game as long as you can survive the early game. So I know this video might have been a little bit boring. I hope it wasn't, because stalling a game, there isn't a lot of mechanics, a lot of planning. It's just playing it safe, playing it smart, farm, wave clear, don't engage stupidly, and just try to perceive the enemy team and try to look for mistakes. Try to look for where people overstep, people greed, and then try to use those mistakes as your ladder to climb up the goal difference, close it up, and potentially carrying the game. So if you like this video, don't forget to leave us a thumbs up, and you can support us by clicking the subscribe button. You go down, you go on your left hand, you will find the subscribe button, smash it as hard as you can. If you learned something from this video, leave us a comment below, share it with your friends, and until next time, good luck guys on Summoner's Rift.